entrepreneurs who are members of the Equity Bank to continue growing their businesses. Now, with this loan, beneficiaries enjoy several benefits, including the 70%, up to 75% collateral. That is up to 75% collateral coverage where collateral is insufficient.
The heartbeat of Kigali.
Hey, those things also happen, yes. You were reminded it's that bit of Kigali. So, listen, this loan beneficiaries enjoy several benefits, including up to 75% collateral coverage where collateral is insufficient, and coverage of up to 50%. Yes, coverage of up to 50% of the monthly loan installment in the event of hospitalization, exceeding, that is 15 days, and a grace period of up to 2 months on loan repayments during maternity leave. And remember, they also receive financial advisory services, market linkages, and training to help them manage and grow their businesses. To access this loan, all you have to do is to visit the nearest Equity Bank branch and get it quickly once you meet these requirements. So for more information, call them on 4345. That is Ijire na Equity from Equity Bank. That very good loan. There you go. This Sunday morning, just to remind you that we are the heartbeat of Kigali. You had that kind of thing that came in, right?
Get up, y'all. Early in the morning. Wake up.
Kigali in the morning.
In the morning. Yes, sir.
Early in the morning to wake you up.
All right, welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Listen to the show this every morning, every Tuesday. Wellness and, yes, Relationship Tuesdays. Know what happens in partnership with Solid Minds Counseling Clinic here in Rwanda. Special shout out to everybody at Solid Minds, whoever's going to Solid Minds, and those of you who continue to seek out counsel and guidance and that kind of help in one or the other, whatever problem you faced, whatever problem is pressing you, you're reminded that you can always seek guidance, seek counseling. It will always help you, because don't die in that cage alone. Do not be cornered alone. You can always have somebody to talk to, somebody next to you. And if you think you're not trusting them, seek the professionals. They'll always be there to help you. It could be the professionals that are next to you in your area where you are, not just Solid Minds here in Kigali. You could be in Rwamagana, you could be in Rubavu, you could be in Rusizi, wherever you are. Go to the health center next to you. There are counselors there. There are other rehabilitation centers. There are other good and wellness centers that can always help you. But do not be caged. Do not be cornered. Do not be pressed. Because if you do not really pay attention to these challenges you're facing, somewhere, we may lose you, and we don't want to lose you. So this morning, the gentleman himself, that is Ronald William Losa from Solid Minds Rwanda, is here once again to give us the very best regarding Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. What are we talking about this Tuesday, Arafat?
Yeah, the hidden struggles of Rwandan men. That topic is very strong. If you hear that, you start to feel like, are we going to even speak about the struggles really? You see? Or we're talking about the mental health struggles. Because if we are to speak about the problems they go through in terms of mental health, they're really unbelievable. And I believe we just need to walk an extra mile and speak out. That's what is very important. Because the moment you have a problem and you start to think, I'm a man, I'm a strong one, I can survive it, you're putting yourself in trouble.
I can't break down.
Yes, you're letting yourself down, actually. Because the more you go, the more things get harder. And the moment you speak to someone who's an expert or who understands how to navigate such challenges, that's when you're likely going to get through it and survive that problem. So today we have Mr. Ronald here on our morning show, Kigali in the morning at Royal FM. We appreciate your time for sure coming in, and we love the knowledge and expertise you share with us here. So to start us off, why is this month really very key for any Rwandan who is watching and listening to us right now?
For me, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Angelo. Good morning, Arafat. I think for me, it's really, really important just able to debunk and just be able to talk about men's mental health, because a lot of times men are sort of assumed to be always okay, to not have any issues, to be the strong one in society. And some of these myths definitely tend to make it very hard for men to seek help and to able to be supported. So this month particularly is able to show that men also matter and just able to bring also them to the conversation because you're also looking at the future, the boy child, and then for them to also to be heard. Society.
But Mr. Ronald, I want us to chill this conversation to be really taken by our listener right now. Is there a moment in your life where you felt like the weight was too much on you and you needed someone? What did you do? Because someone listening out there might say, okay, let me take on from what he just answered or how he navigated the problem, and then probably will be able to survive as well.
Okay. Thank you for the question, because I think for me, growing up in the coastal town of Mombasa in Kenya, as a last born, definitely there was a lot of shielding that was happening, having older siblings. But as life went on, going into uni by myself, there's all those moments when it was really tough, when you're away from home and you have no one sometimes to call on to. You are there in university struggling, and even at the point where I started life for myself, there was really a lot of the sort of doing it all by yourself. And sometimes it was difficult. And I think earlier on, I was conversing, Angelo, and sometimes we tend to also miss out the aspect of God, our Father. Because a lot of times that template of having a good father goes a long way in our society. Having a good father is a propulsion in for the foundation for many families. So that, I think, goes a long way. A father in heaven, but also having a father in the home helped a lot.
So far, have you accepted yourself to be vulnerable in some moments where you need help? Why do most men really tend not to accept vulnerability and take that support?
I think it's just some of the myths. I think a lot of times when you talk about debunking some of the myths, talk about men don't cry, men don't have the sort of weakness. A lot of times talk about successful men don't struggle as well. And I think all these narratives tend to suppress men being able to express themselves. Because the moment, even as a child, when you try and a boy child trying to cry, be like, don't cry, you're a man. And already from the childhood, already preempts you not to be able to express yourself as well as you can.
We have that in our families. Actually, Angelo, I think you've had that as well in some of the families where people tell their boy child that you can't cry, you're a man, as he just mentioned. So, as an expert, how should that be actually reverted? What should be the words that we use in our homes that also play a role in men mental health, that probably we will help shape the better future of men who can speak out than just, actually telling them that don't speak. You can't accept to be that weak. What is it that parents should be teaching their young boys right now at home? Because now we are speaking about a man, and of course they're going to be men very soon.
I think I always take it back to my own home. I think being a father of two boys, a lot of times it's very common. What I always do is, even at the point where they're hurt, it's okay to express yourself. Because a lot of times that element of not allowing a child to express themselves, if they're hurt, they will cry. But I think at the point where you talk about, okay, once you have cried, allow yourself just to be able to express what you're going through. I'm crying because of I'm hurt. And being hurt is okay. But at some point, you have to look at it. I think the key thing is just allowing them to express themselves, but then importantly being able to talk about it. That element of talking about, because a lot of times, even as a child, when you cry, you get beaten some more to stop crying, and then you end up now holding it in, a lot of the anger, and this sometimes tends to be counterproductive in terms of emotional expression. When you're always made, I think it's something that not only for boys but also children in general, where when you cry, you get beaten some more for crying, and then you end up now even just suppressing a lot of the emotion.
Oh, wow. So growing up as a man, what are some of the lessons that you learned from men around you on how men should handle pain And what are some of the lessons today you can teach that are actually different from what you learned or what they were teaching by then that we need to learn today on how to handle pain?
I think for me, pain is a natural response. At the point where you're hurt, you'll experience pain. The key thing has always been, how do you express it? How do you let others know that you are hurt? And then that goes a long way to being able to unlocking it. Because the moment you're aware that you're hurt, awareness is the first step. The second step is, how do you communicate it? And that communication, I always talk about this over communicate. Yeah. If you're hurt, talk about it. Even at the point where just being able to put your thoughts in order, being able to have sort of like writing it down. These are some of the things that really hurt me. And I think a lot of times when it comes to conflict management, in conflicts, the golden rule has always been I statements, because it comes from a point of fact. I feel hurt because you did this and this about me. The person might not recognize it, but you talking about it, mentioning it in the right space and time goes a long way.
Wow.
Quite interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kigali in the morning, wellness and, relationship Tuesdays. This morning, like we said, we are having William from Solid Minds Counseling Clinic in Rwanda. Like we said, of course, just to remind you, it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. That session when, of course, that is Arafat asking him a little bit of some personal experiences on that. But just to remind you, we're talking something very important, strong or silent, trying to basically debunk some myths about men's mental health. Well, the key message being mentally healthy does not basically, mean being emotionless, like we were saying earlier. Because we know really that real strength includes that self-awareness, that you're aware, you're vulnerable, you're emotional, that kind of expression of your emotions, your feelings as well, and seeking support, which really, really, really need. And I want to ask William, those, of course, you may have said this before, but just to remind people, and of course the men who are listening to the show this morning, one of those most common myths that people probably in our community, always experience, especially men. What are those common myths now?
Yeah, definitely. I think just talking about that before, where I talk about men don't cry. That already puts men.
That is true, Arafat.
Yeah, and I think even
honestly,
his heart is broken, but he can't cry.
culturally, 95%. That's how many men on this continent believe.
That's what we've been nurtured to believe.
And as an expert, I want you to actually open our eyes. That's to be honest.
Yeah.
What we were told is there are cultural norms, there are cultural teachings, But what is it that can help us navigate this changing world today, apart from just that we learned?
I think just going back on the narrative of crying, crying is therapeutic. Because a lot of times when you're hurt, there's a lot of talk about being heartbroken. It's like breaking all your bones at once. And that moment of just allowing yourself to cry actually reboots the system. Scientifically, it's been known. And that's why at times when women are able to cry, they find themselves relieved and able to cope. But the moment you suppress, because I know that the narrative here has always been men cry, tears flow inwards, flow to the inwards. And a lot of times, getting the right space, allowing yourself to express yourself emotionally goes a long way to being able to show up to the world.
So it's okay to cry.
It is okay to cry.
So in other words, men cry as well because they're humans.
Yes.
There's another I heard about, is it depression, something like that?
Yeah.
Depression affects what?
Depression only affects women. Yeah.
How true is that?
It is not true, because depression affects all of us. In moments because when you talk about, counseling mentally is a continuum, whereby stress built continuously leads to depression. Depression, there are stages of it. When at the point where one goes to major depressive disorder, one can actually even be having suicidal thoughts. So depression does affect every one of us. Talk about anxiety, talk about elements of mental health disorders, does affect all of us because you're human.
Just remind men,
Yeah.
what does depression mean? Just as a reminder.
I
A
think
sneak peek.
depression just basically looks at, because there are two sides of it. There's the physical element where a lot of times when we are sad, the dopamine doesn't get produced. And that, in effect, when you are sad for prolonged periods of time, chances are affects you physically, and that also affects you emotionally, whereby you're not able to express yourself as best as you can because you're constantly feeling sad over long periods of time. And that is ideally now that build-up of stress, which now leads to depression.
Wow.
That's a good one.
That's really very important. But when we talk about depression and crying, an old man out there who is going to be listening to us, or probably who is listening to us right now, is going to say, what is it these young men are talking about? How can a man go in public and cry? I can't cry. I can't let my son cry. But what is this modern way of crying? Because let's not take crying as just shedding tears. Crying can as well mean having that heavy heart that needs to be relieved. That needs to be relieved. Where do you think currently men are taking it wrong? Is it because they don't know where to go? Is it because they don't know who to support? Is it because men no longer have friends? Why can't men find relief? Yet we have experts like you. What is it have you discovered at Solid Mind?
I think definitely when you even talk about crying, expression of emotion always has to be in a safe space. Yeah, because I'm not advocating for just be out there and just crying all over. Just chances are it's going to be a bit odd.
Yes.
But a safe space, a space where you're able to express yourself. This can be in the comfort of your home, in the therapy room, or even a space where you feel like this is just a place where I can allow myself to cry.
I've heard some universities now are constructing safe rooms for crying. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I think it's part of like sort of like the Western world where there are safe spaces to allow people to express.
Proofed actually, soundproofed, whereby you go in and
Speak
cry,
out, shout
spit it
out.
out, and get out when you feel like the dopamine you just talked about went up.
That's why you said therapy is thought to be for the weak people, yet it's not true. Is it a myth?
It is a myth. Actually, therapy requires a lot of strength. Opening up, shedding light on some of the dark areas takes a great deal of strength. Yeah, because a lot of times people see therapy as weak, but it does take a lot for you to see where you are weak and be able to work on it.
Thank you for that. Actually, people should always work on. I mean, it's, like you said, it's a strength,
Yeah.
very good strength. Now, do successful people also struggle mentally,
Yes, they do.
especially men?
Yes, they do, because a lot of times just varies on degree, but successful people do struggle a lot, because I think there are always those sort of narratives when people talk about, even when you are having that multi-millions, the stress is even compounded.
Yeah, very compounded.
You're on bed, but you're really thinking about the money.
No,
that
look at the richest. The richest men are the one who have divorced. What do you think? What is the case?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the Elon Musk. Look at the
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Look at, I think even Bezos divorced.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? The richest men in the world are the ones that have left their homes. You know, that means probably that they've been having a lot on their heart deep down that they could not manage to handle until when they vomited it out, and they vomited out negatively. So I mean, I want us to shift to something called financials. I think we talked about last week,
Yeah.
but I want you to shed more light on how finances, the pressure that finances brings to our families, to our homes, affects at a higher percentage men, and ends up actually puts them in that moment of where they're depressed, they're not taken care of, they no longer love themselves, because loving yourself is part of it, but sometimes when you have a lot on yourself, you can't actually as well love yourself. So how has financial pressure today, I mean, increased the mental challenges men go through.
Or maybe just remind on top of that, whether men should actually solve every problem in a family or in the community. Putting that in mind as well.
I think I think this goes back to men being seen as breadwinners. Yeah. Already that puts a lot of pressure for men to provide. I think I've always talked about, even a lot of times when he talked about my money is our money, but then for women it's your money is our money, that sort of thing. Already that puts a lot of pressure, and finances does play a big role to mental health, because at the point where you're lacking financially or there's insufficiency, there's a lot of you tend to ignore yourself. You think about everybody else, the wife, the kids. Even when it comes to, I know a lot of men who don't have many even like shoes, and yet the rest of the family have more shoes. But it goes to that element of sacrifice, but sacrifice at the expense where when you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of others.
I like that point. Why I like it? I've remembered that I was actually having an evening coffee with a friend of mine. He's not a Rwandan. And he told me, Arafat, there's one thing you need to learn, and you need to learn it hard, that the moment you're not healthy, everyone at home is not healthy.
It's true.
So what matters? And he went further and said, if it's eating healthy and nutritious food, you should be the first one to eat it. If it's, and someone was like, if there's that thing that requires you to be fit, it's you who has to be fit before anyone else. And he went on to say, if they choose between you and your son who gets sick, he said, many parents will say, I'd rather get sick, my son, I don't want my son to get sick, I'd rather be the one ill. And the guy was like, no, that is childish thinking. Your child deserves to be sick, and you're able to provide for the treatment. But when you're sick, the child cannot provide for your treatment, which in turn will need your support as well. So he was trying actually to elaborate it more, trying to show me that the breadwinner, I don't care whether it's a woman or it's a man, should be the one fit, because we are all eyeing on this person. So, as Angelo had asked, do you think we should actually even care? Should we be the ones caring all for everything that the family needs, or we should actually cool down ourselves, not to put too much pressure on ourselves as well?
Like there's a lot on the man's table than he can handle.
Yeah, definitely, there's a lot, but you cannot handle it all. A lot of times, if you create an ecosystem around you, it goes a long way. Because I think we always talk about, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, build a community around you. There's something that I learned, even from my brother-in-law, whereby I talk about, there's a narrative about the lion. Yeah, because in the lion park, the women with the lionesses do a lot of the hunting, but the male is there for the protection, and they work as a pack, because you have to be able to create that community around you to be able to support you. This can be from,
I like it.
goes a long way, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Others have gone through it. Why not seek that support, seek that guidance, and it goes a long way for you to be able to succeed.
So you think the ecosystem is lacking in our families? That's why it's one-sided in a way.
Because I think there's that element where there's so much expectation, not only on the man but also on the society. It tends to sometimes be overwhelming. But when you look at it, how do I understand that I'm not alone in this? There are others who are also going through this, others who have gone through it as well. And how do you seek it out? Be intentional about that support.
Very important. Like he says, of course, man, you're not alone. You're in a community. You have a family. You have a wife. Build that environment, that ecosystem where you can thrive, you can share freely. And if anything is pressing you, do remember to know that you're not alone. Want to get into, of course, a break, but when we return, want to ask, what is the impact of social media on men's mental health? The comparisons, William has a car, I do not have a car. Does it mean I'm a failure? Besides, what are some of the health ways men can basically express their emotions? Because it's true we have emotions and we can cry, they're no longer myths. Now we know the truth. We can do all that. What are some of those health ways that we can express those ones, considering our nature as men? It's Kigali in the Morning, Wellness and Relationship Tuesdays with Solid Minds. William, good morning. Do the very best with this reward. That is, if you refer somebody to go and buy this Spiro, if they purchase it, you'll be able to get that 20k, which is a very good bonus. You'll be able to maybe to buy lunch or do something using it, because 20k is not some small money. Call 3366 now to learn more about this. And remember, T's and C's apply. Spiro, it's the electric ride that truly rewards you. In the meantime, Mount Kigali University is reminding you that yes, if you missed out on the May intake, stand by for the September intake. And then should you miss out on the September intake, there's a January intake. Reach out to them at the campus here in Chichichiro, Kagarama, or reach out to them on the website that is www.mkr.ac.rw. Mount Kigali University, they are empowering generations through quality education. Somebody had said that if we played a gospel song in this show, probably could actually, calm down men, knowing that they are not alone. And I don't know whether for the time we have, we should probably play this, but I think So if you believe that you have that father, then believe you me, every situation you are into, if it's pressing you, if it's cornering you, if it's, getting you to hate yourself, or the reason to ask or to question your existence, just know you have a father and you're going to overcome. It's a dedication to all of you who are listening to the show this lovely morning. And just
and to
get
the
a message.
men, and to the men, to the men who have opted to seek for support, God bless you. God bless you, because you've taken a very helpful route, and it will actually yield. Because the moment you are a weak man, the moment you can't accept to take on the role and accept to be healed, then you're not even strong. That's what I can say, honestly. A strong man is one who can, approach and confront a problem. That's how I perceive it.
Yeah.
And in some of the lyrics in that song, they know you are healing. It's more than a feeling. Help me to believe, even in trauma, even the pain, the rejection. Your family has probably, rejected you. You're in that pain,
Yeah.
You're depressed literally, because many men are rejected these days, So it's very important to know that you have a father, and like you talked about the ecosystem, you have the support next to you.
I like the ecosystem. I like the ecosystem. And I'll give you an example. I know a man who has 3 kids. One is 20, the other one 22, another one is 24. They are all in the university. But I tell you what, they're all paying for rent at their father's home.
Okay.
Wow.
Why? These kids, they go to work Monday to Friday, and then they go to school Saturday and Sundays. But he told them, you living here and you consuming from here. I'm your father, I know that. But you have to pay for this. And he supplies to them. At the end of the year, everyone got their pay back.
So the money they used to pay for rent, the father could keep it.
He could keep it
Then later he gave it to them,
on different accounts of each and every one.
which is good.
And then at the end of the year, he came and told them, this is your sweat. You thought you were paying for rent and you're okay with it. I noticed no one was against it. But now I've come to show you that this is what you can get from learning to pay for bills.
Which is good.
Discipline, financial discipline.
Very,
Financial
very
discipline.
important.
So I agree with the ecosystem, though the guy did not use the money. But I agree, supporting where you are is very important. There's some people who are living in other people's homes. They've helped you to come in as guardians, and they're supporting you. Maybe you're living there, going to school. We've lived in so many people's families. But you're pretending like there's nothing you can support. You're pretending like nothing you can do. Please be part of the ecosystem, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
That is very important.
Very, very important indeed. I think he taught them the best way. And let's come back to the fact that, social media these days and the pressures. We are living for social media. The other day somebody was telling me that we are attending weddings where we're capturing moments just on camera,
Yeah.
photos and videos, while we're not living the moments, and we're doing it for social media. And it got me thinking that we're investing a lot in money and capturing just the moments when we're not going to last the moments or to live in the moments later on. And there's some men have also been affected. They've had separations or divorces, or some others within the society are pressurized to perform according to what they see on Instagram, on X, all those other social media platforms. And now I want to know the impact of social media and the comparisons men make, or that are made on men or towards men, on their mental health in this case.
I think media has become a very powerful tool. A lot of times people have always talked about live it, fake it until you make it. Those sort of narratives have always been there. And one thing I want to show, when it comes to those Instagram photos, media pics, it's just a snapshot of somebody's life. There's so much more to a person's life through those, more than those snapshots. And you have to know that with everything, there is a process. The person may seem like he has made it, but there are very many dimensions to who we are. So many layers of who we are as human beings sometimes are not captured. And what I always say is always focus on your own journey. Be present, being able to know, because a lot of times even when you talk about depression, depression primarily is focusing a lot on the past, the good old times, things when things were better, things were easier. When you focus a lot on the future, you're having a lot of anxiety. What they both miss out on is just being able to be present in today. And that comes with a lot of awareness. Where am I at? If I'm not driving now, doesn't mean that I won't drive. It means that I just need to be able to develop the roadmap for me to be able to drive eventually. But being present saves you from a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worries, by just understanding this is where I'm at, but there is hope for me to be able to make it.
So, if I ask this question, I don't know, maybe you'll help me unpack it. What does the face of a man who is struggling look like? Let's say if you meet in a consultation room, how do they look like? And can you notice a struggling man on the street?
Definitely we can, because a lot of times we just look at some of the elements of grooming. Yeah, if they're not well groomed in terms of shaving, in terms of smelling good, in terms of just even applying basic things like lotion as well. Being unkempt is a telltale sign that the person is already maybe struggling with mental health issues. Elements as well in terms of when you talk about you're not eating well, poor appetite. We talk about also not being able to sleep a full 6 to 8 hours of sleep, goes to show that you are struggling to some degree and that you would require help.
So, maybe my last question, but on the list, I don't know. What cost does it have on a family, on a wife, on a child, on other people living in the family when a man is not healthy mentally?
Statistics have shown 57% men who struggle. A lot of times it replicates a lot in the family. We find children as well struggling emotionally, struggling elements of expressing themselves, not being able to be confident, because I think early on he talked about just being able to mentor. And when that is lacking in a home, it actually has great ramifications for the entire family. Even for the wife, how does she show up to her friends? Because if you are not mentally stable in your home, it does affect everybody in the home. So it's very important to be able to understand that when there's that stability is a foundation for success for the home, which is a nucleus of any society and even the nation at large.
That's quite interesting. So you can easily know that, that's how they're struggling, and also, like you said, those statistics showing how we are truly struggling. But now, to crown it all, what are some of the healthy ways men can express the emotions without having at the back of mind that they're going to laugh at me or they're going to judge me? Where can they have that freedom to express the struggles, the emotions, what they're going through, the fact that this is the month meant for them, and as a society to acknowledge and to know that men are struggling, so that we could be able to help them, because we need help truly,
100%.
considering what we've said, statistics, what we see in the community, sleeping for less hours. Every single day we are struggling, and we're not making ends meet. I mean, how best can we really have the health way of expressing those struggles and even the emotions without having the back of our mind that we are struggling?
I think I'd always just I'd give a challenge to the community out there. Talk about, if you have a male friend, just be able to reach out. I know it's a football season, Football World Cup is coming up. So but just be able to call somebody and call a male friend, ask him, how are you really doing? How are you really doing? And
beyond how are you?
Yeah, beyond how are you? Because a lot of times we shy away from those tough, deep conversations. But sometimes that can be the difference between somebody being able to show up and be able to overcome by just asking, how are you doing? Yeah.
Wow. That's very important.
Just to follow up on that, how can I dive deep into, how can I go beyond a how are you? Because oftentimes people they don't want to open up. Reserved. Hello, hi William. Hey, hi Angelo, how are you? I'm okay. So beyond that, how can I get somebody to say open up, or okay, I'll be fine, bro, I'll be fine, don't worry?
I think it's always
behind that or
Yeah.
beyond that?
What I'd say is just being able to create a safe space. The reason why therapy works is because they do create that safe space. And even at the point where the person is expressing themselves, you have to really, really listen. Yeah. And listen goes beyond hearing. Hearing is sort of like waiting for your turn to speak. But when you listen, you allow the person to open up. You have questions which allow them to open-ended questions where they're able to open up, because that's safe space. Because even if I ask you, but maybe when in a group, in a company, sometimes not the safest of spaces. But when you have that space where the person, maybe you're sitting on a lounge, you're able to have a conversation and just say, I'm intentionally wanting to talk because I've noticed maybe you're more withdrawn. I've noticed even some of the posts you're doing. That goes a long way, because once you notice, the person has nowhere to hide. And the only resolve is able to open up and for them to know that they're not alone in it.
So, Leonard,
Yeah.
as we head to the end of our conversation, what kind of tips, let's say 5 or 3, that you would help guide a man out here who is listening, or a relative who is listening and knowing a man who is struggling, to start with to get healed?
Okay. So I definitely have some of the tips. To talk about healthy body is a healthy mind, because a lot of times when the body is fit, you are better able to handle a lot of the stresses. So physical activity is one of them. I talk about spending time with supportive people. These are people who have your back, people who understand some of the struggles and are willing to listen. I talk about prayer, faith activities for those who practice as well, because it's very important to understand that as a human being, there are 4 aspects of who you are. There's a physical, there's emotional, there's a spiritual aspect as well. So it's very important to be able to look at a man as a spiritual being. To also talk about hobbies as well, and also I'll stress this part as well. How do you take on recovery time? Because you can go out there, be on the grind, show up for everybody, but how do you show up for yourself? That recovery time is very important. And then lastly, seeking support when needed at the right time, because the longer you wait, the signs are already there. The longer you wait, chances are you break down, and even you require much more attention as compared to just taking when you needed it.
Ronald William Alosa from Soul Minds Rwanda this morning. Thank you so much for the great session we've had together. And, well, next week she'll be having him. She'll be also tackling a very other important topic. Otherwise, from us to you, next hour, something very, very important. Stand by, because you don't want to miss out. Regards to everybody at Soul Minds Rwanda.
Thank you, Angela.
All right, have a great day. Good morning. News is next. Just stand by.
Life's too short for boring music. That's why Royal FM is here to keep it fresh and funky. The heartbeat of Kigali.